Our planet's history is a grand book with chapters filled with the most extraordinary creatures imaginable. Long after the dinosaurs vanished, a new giant claimed the Earth. This was not a mammal, nor was it a mighty bird. It was a snake of truly epic proportions, a creature so immense it challenges the very limits of what we believe is possible for a reptile to become. In the dark, murky waters of ancient Colombia some 60 million years ago lived Titanoboa kerejonensis. Its name, quite fittingly, means titanic boa. The discovery of its fossilized vertebrae in a vast coal mine was a moment of sheer astonishment for the world of science, revealing a chapter of life we never knew existed. The story of Titanoboa's discovery is as remarkable as the creature itself. Imagine paleontologists sifting through the layers of rock and coal in the Serpent mine, a place that was once a sprawling tropical jungle. They were expecting to find ancient plants and perhaps the remains of smaller reptiles. Instead, they unearthed a vertebra larger than a human fist. This single bone was a clue to something colossal. More fossils soon followed, painting a picture of a snake that dwarfed any living today. The anaconda and the reticulated python, our modern-day giants, would look like mere garden snakes next to this prehistoric leviathan. This finding completely rewrote our understanding of snake evolution and the potential size they could achieve. To truly grasp the sheer scale of Titanoboa, we must use comparisons from our own world. Picture a yellow school bus, a familiar sight for many of us. Titanoboa would have been longer, stretching from one end to the other with room to spare, measuring up to 13 meters or 42 feet. Now, think of its weight. It would have tipped the scales at over 1,100 kilograms, heavier than a large bison or a small car. When it moved through the water, it would have displaced it with the force of a submarine gliding silently beneath the surface. It was a creature of immense power and presence, a true king of its domain, whose very existence was a testament to the incredible possibilities of life on Earth. The discovery was not just about finding a big snake, it was a profound scientific breakthrough. The size of a cold-blooded animal like a snake is directly linked to the temperature of its environment. For a creature as massive as Titanoboa to exist, the world it inhabited must have been significantly warmer than we previously thought. The bones of this single animal became a natural thermometer, allowing scientists to calculate the average temperature of the Paleocene tropics. It told us that this ancient world was a sweltering, humid paradise, far warmer than the Amazon rainforest today. This knowledge helps us better understand climate history and how ecosystems respond to dramatic temperature shifts over geological time. Let us journey back in time to the Paleocene epoch. This was a world recovering from the asteroid impact that wiped out the dinosaurs. The air was thick with moisture, and the temperatures were consistently high, rarely dipping below 30 degrees Celsius. This constant balmy warmth created the perfect conditions for life to flourish in new and spectacular ways. Vast sprawling rainforests covered much of the land, far more extensive than anything we see today. These were not the jungles we know. They were alien landscapes filled with strange plants and the ancestors of modern animals, all adapting to a planet that was, in essence, a global greenhouse. It was in this hothouse world that Titanoboa thrived. Its home was a massive wetland system in what is now northern Colombia. Imagine a network of slow-moving rivers, murky swamps, and dense flooded forests stretching as far as the eye could see. The water was warm and teeming with life, providing both a hunting ground and a perfect medium for such a large animal to support its immense weight. The environment was a constant cycle of wet and dry seasons, shaping the landscape and the lives of the creatures within it. For Titanoboa, the water was its kingdom, a place where its size was an advantage, allowing it to move with a surprising and deadly grace. The flora of this period was just as impressive as the fauna. Giant ferns, palms, and the earliest relatives of modern bean and chocolate trees formed a dense canopy overhead, filtering the sunlight that reached the forest floor. The water was choked with floating vegetation and giant water lilies. This lush environment provided endless hiding places for both predator and prey. The very air would have smelled of damp earth, decaying leaves, and blooming flowers, a rich, organic perfume that defined this ancient epoch. It was a world of giants, not just giant snakes, but giant plants and insects as well, all fueled by the planet's relentless warmth and humidity. This warm, stable climate was the key to Titanoboa's gigantism. As a cold-blooded or ectothermic animal, a snake's metabolism is governed by the temperature of its surroundings. In a warmer world, a snake's body can process food more efficiently and grow to a much larger size than it could in a cooler climate. The Paleocene offered the perfect incubator for life to experiment with scale. Titanoboa represents the absolute peak of this experiment for snakes. Its existence is a direct reflection of the environment it inhabited, a living monument to a time when our planet was a very different and much warmer place. It shows us how deeply interconnected life is with the climate it depends on. In the primordial swamps of the Paleocene, Titanoboa was the undisputed ruler. It was an apex predator, sitting at the very top of the food chain with no natural enemies to challenge its reign. Its immense size and power made it a formidable hunter, capable of taking down the other giants that shared its watery world. It likely spent much of its time submerged, with only its eyes and nostrils breaking the surface, patiently waiting for an unsuspecting meal to come within striking distance. When it attacked, it would have been a sudden and explosive display of force, a coil of pure muscle erupting from the murky depths to secure its prey. The diet of this colossal snake was as impressive as its size. Fossil evidence from the same Colombian coal mine has revealed the remains of its likely victims. Among them were giant turtles with shells over 1.5 meters wide, known as carbonemes. These turtles were built like armored tanks, yet they were no match for the crushing power of Titanoboa. The snake also preyed on giant primitive crocodiles, some of which grew to several meters long. Unlike modern anacondas that constrict their prey, it is believed Titanoboa may have used a different technique, striking with incredible force and using its massive jaws to simply overpower and crush its victims before swallowing them whole. Life as an apex predator required a strategy of patience and energy conservation. An animal of Titanoboa's size could not afford to chase prey over long distances. Instead, it was an ambush hunter, a master of stealth and surprise. It would lie in wait for hours, perhaps even days, in the murky channels of the swamp, perfectly camouflaged by the water and vegetation. Its slow metabolism meant that a single large meal, such as a giant turtle or a crocodile, could sustain it for many months. This lifestyle, a slow and deliberate rhythm of waiting, striking and digesting, was perfectly suited to the languid, steamy environment of its ancient home. The presence of such a powerful predator would have shaped the entire ecosystem around it. The other animals in the swamp would have lived in constant awareness of this silent, lurking giant. Their behaviors, their choice of habitat, and even their evolution would have been influenced by the need to avoid becoming Titanoboa's next meal. The snake was a keystone species, a central pillar holding the structure of its ecosystem together. Its role as the ultimate hunter maintained a natural balance, ensuring that no other species could dominate the wetlands. It was a vital part of the intricate web of life in this lost world. The reign of Titanoboa, like that of all great creatures in Earth's history, eventually came to an end. After millions of years as the supreme predator of the swamps, the world around it began to change. The primary driver of its extinction was a gradual but persistent shift in the global climate. The warm, stable temperatures of the Paleocene epoch began to cool down. As the planet became cooler and more variable, the environment that had allowed Titanoboa to reach its gigantic size slowly disappeared. The hothouse world that had been its incubator could no longer support its massive, cold-blooded metabolism, and the giant snake simply could not adapt. This climate change brought new challenges. As temperatures dropped, the lush, sprawling rainforests and swamps began to shrink, replaced by different types of landscapes. This reduced the available habitat for Titanoboa and its prey. Furthermore, the changing world gave rise to new forms of competition. The age of mammals was dawning, and new, warm-blooded predators were beginning to emerge. While they may not have directly hunted the adult Titanoboa, they would have competed for the same food resources and perhaps preyed on its young, adding another layer of pressure on the dwindling population of the giant snakes. The king was losing its kingdom. The story of Titanoboa's demise is a powerful lesson in the fragility of life, even for the most dominant of creatures. It demonstrates that no species, no matter how large or powerful, is immune to the effects of widespread environmental change. Its extinction highlights the delicate balance that exists between a species and its climate. When that balance is disrupted, Even the mightiest can fall. The fossils it left behind are a silent warning from the past, reminding us how profoundly climate has shaped the course of life on our planet and how it continues to do so today in our own time. Ultimately, the legacy of Titanoboa is one of wonder and enlightenment. The fossils from the Serpent mine have opened a unique window into a lost world, allowing us to see a time and a place with astonishing clarity. They teach us about the incredible diversity of life that Earth can produce and the extreme conditions that can foster it. Titanoboa is more than just a monster from a bygone age. It is a vital piece of the puzzle of our planet's history. It inspires awe, fuels our curiosity, and deepens our appreciation for the grand, ever-evolving story of life, a story that is still being written in the rocks beneath our very feet.